what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Hope you're doing well today. It is Friday already. And it is the 8th of December, which is the day before the Lord decided to bless this realm with the most magnificent gift it has ever known. It's my birthday tomorrow. Yes, indeed, and I'm so excited. I don't have any particularly exciting plans, but I do intend to enjoy my day. I have some things that I'm doing for myself for sure that I'm looking forward to, i.e. making myself a big chocolate chip cookie cake, yes, with pecans, and I have some Haagen-Dazs vanilla ice cream, so I'm literally looking forward to that delight. I'm not really a super big cake person, you know, of course I'll eat it, but in terms of what I prefer for my birthday, it's usually very, very simple, very simple. And this year I really wanted a cookie cake. And I looked at Mrs. Fields and they don't offer them with nuts. And I love chocolate chips with nuts. It's like, if you're not gonna have it with nuts, like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? So I was like, well, let me just make my own. So that's what I'm going to do, with only the best ice cream in the world, of course. So with that being said, if you would like to add to the joy of the magnificent day of December 9th, I'm accepting all gifts and donations and well wishes and prayers and high vibrations bars accordingly with grace and gratitude. I'll even link my CashApp below. And I'll maybe post it on the community tab or maybe tomorrow, I don't know. But if you feel guided to bless me for my birthday, I certainly return it to you 1,000-fold in advance, just for even the heart and the will to want to do so. Okay, so thank you. All right, so let's see what we got here today. Investments. An investment in my birthday wishes, in my birthday joy could be a good one in the long run for you. Definitely would be a seed well planted, let me tell you. But yes, this is about long-term investments, wise investments, or the adverse thereof. But of course, we're going to take it in the highest vibration. This is someone that's been diligent in their sowing and planning and growing and watering their crop and working on an idea and taking all the necessary steps to bring something to fruition, a seed out of the ground, you know, definitely putting the hand to the plow. Now, to the point of the adverse energy, I always forget to look up the saying, where attention flows, attention goes, energy flows, something like that. So, you know, you could have someone that works their fingers to the bone and they yield a harvest indeed, but sometimes with the Seven of Pentacles, depending on how you were sowing and what you were sowing into, it may not be very favorable, or it just might not be what you anticipated or expected. But like I always like to say with the Seven of Pentacles, it's a matter of perspective for sure, and perception, because what you have yielded, there is something that's been yielded, even if you see it as the one or the potential for the sum of the seven, it's more than nothing. So it just depends on how you take that seed and replant it or multiply it or eat it, and you know, let it be nourishment for your being, or however it is that you get to put it into action is really on account of how you value it, you know. So let's see what we got here. I'm not gonna keep you long because I was super distracted today waiting for a package. I didn't want to get interrupted, and I kind of got to go to a neighbor's house to get it because for whatever reason, Target, they have this new delivery service where, Somebody maybe didn't plan too well with the Nine of Swords. They have this like delivery service that comes straight from the warehouse, or I guess it's like their own personal drivers or whatever, as opposed to using the carriers. So when they have something close by, like at a store, they use their own service. But lately, the last couple times I've had to use it because my address is kind of tricky, they always say they can't find the address. So I tried a neighbor's address that's more on the main road. But the only thing is, 'tis the season for package pirates, i.e. the Five of Swords right here, looking to hit a lick, or win at all costs, one up somebody or get over on some situation for their own self-gratification with the Nine of Cups. So I've had to keep checking to just make sure, like, because my neighbor's not there anymore, she's at work, she's going to work, so I got to keep checking to make sure is there or is not there, or before some other sticky fingers get to it. All right, so let's see what we got. The Nine of Swords is someone that's definitely anxious, eager. I probably spoke too much of it into existence. This is on account of those seeds sown. So this is definitely the depiction of somebody that is not happy with the harvest that's been yielded. And the Nine of Swords is like an anxiety about what hasn't even yet happened, but what there's a projection of possibility for. So in this regard, it's like there's some anxiety, and maybe even it's more than anxiety though. Like it feels heavier with the Nine of Swords. It's not just like, oh, woe is me, I'm worried about, if I pass this test, or if I'm worried that I won't pass this test, or I'm worried that the money won't come in time, or that, something menial, not menial, but this is deeper, especially with the cups here at the end. There's some interference. Yeah, that's what it is. Damn, somebody here in this spread is worried that because of the seeds that they've sown, the decisions and actions that they've taken, and how they've chosen to invest their energy and time, that they are being kept from a wish fulfillment, like something that they really, really want, or something that they feel like some aspect of expression that would ultimately, they feel like they keep being kept out of their happiness. And it's like a very hopeless energy right here. That's why I said this feels real heavy. It's like depression, anxiety, regret, I don't know, shame. I'm feeling that, shame. Feeling a little bit, I'm gonna just call it how I say it, how I hear it, feeling stupid. That's what I hear. Like somebody feels like they played themselves, because this energy here is like, and that's what typically happens with the Five of Swords. It's like when in the energy of someone that wants to win at all costs, they usually end up losing something. They sacrifice themselves or sacrifice something, and it looks like on account of wanting to, I would say, maybe expedite a harvest with that Seven of Pentacles. That's what that's giving me, like wanted to, because when you're talking about the disfavorable perspective of that card, it's feeling like you haven't yielded more, you haven't yielded what you've sown, or it's the expectation didn't meet the outcome. So I'm feeling like somebody, and it was a persistent investment. So somebody feels like they pretty much wasted their time investing in something that ultimately didn't lead them to the fulfillment, the desirable outcome that they were looking for. And now it's not just a matter of, well, at least for this person, this is the energy that they're in. They're not able to connect to the higher vibration in the Seven of Pentacles, where it's like, well, at least I got one, or at least I got my life, which would be also a pentacle. If you got energy, you got time, you got breath in your body, then you still have something to sow, right? This is somebody that's not seeing that in that way. They're having a very hopeless like doomsday perspective of life right now, because they're feeling so far off from not just what they intended to have, maybe perhaps where they were at one point in time. Let's get into that, but also any possibility for regeneration at this time. Like they don't even feel hopeful that they'll ever be able to get back to the satisfaction, the happiness, and in this regard, it's like, was it even really truly happy if you were in the energy of the Five of Swords and making unwise investments, either having to be in an environment that was highly overactively aggressive with the Five of Swords, maybe even violent, perhaps. This is people that will do anything to win. And if that was the energy that one had to connect himself with, perhaps even participate in, was it really happy? It's like, that's why I'm saying you gotta see your wins from your losses. Even if it only feels like one win, it's like, honestly, who wants to continue on in that vibration, no matter what the reward is? To live in this energy here in the center aspect of it all is not fulfilling holistically, no matter what the material harvest it yielded. That's why the Seven of Pentacles in this regard is unfavorable, because no amount of work in this vibration, no amount or measurement of reward acquired in this vibration will ever feel worth it. You'll always have to feel like you have to keep, investing and over investing and keep at it, especially if we're talking about some type of, risky behaviors in financial acquisitions, i.e. scamming or hustling, or, just things that, like I said, you put yourself at risk. It's like, what's it really worth in the end, All right, so we got, is this the Magician? Yeah. So we got the Queen of Wands and the Magician card. Interesting. Oh, off the rip, this is, I'm feeling like this is tricky feminine energy right here, witchy energy with the Queen of Wands and the Magician. That's why he's all stressed out. That's why. Remember I said somebody feels stupid or feels played or something like that. It's like, is a double whammy for this individual. Maybe he invested in a connection. It could have been a multitude of things, but with this Queen of Wands and this Magician card, this is not good vibrations to me. Not right now. Not coming off of this 3-card spread. This is immediately when I saw this, I'm like, this is someone that overexerts their energy for manipulation, which to me is always the fine line with the Magician card. It literally is about manipulating material energy or the material realm in some way, shape, or form, using your resources to cultivate a desirable outcome. In the highest vibration, it could almost be close to alchemy in some way, shape, or form. Not quite, but in an earthly expression, like really almost being able to pull a rabbit out of the hat or make a miracle to some degree, when you consider how few resources you may have by measure and how great of an outcome you can manage to create, So that's the Magician in an earthly sense. But with the Queen of Wands facing this energy here, I feel like I'm just hearing like there was some absorption of power. Is that even a word? An absorbance. Thank you, Spirit. I'm like, absorption. Absorbance of power. There was an exchange here that happened, maybe just like when you get hooked up with people that don't, like I said, that investment in the Seven of Pentacles, this could be in people, places, or things. And what you yield is on account of what you've sown. So sometimes the sowing happens by way of association, different characters that we align with or allow to get close to us. And you might not even realize how it's depreciating your value or causing a detriment to your life force until it's too late, until you have nothing to show for it, or very little to show for it. This is giving me those vibes here where somebody was in a strong alliance with someone. We got the Queen of Wands, who can definitely be very seductive, can be energetically forceful and ambitious, and it can veer into, the lower vibration if you're not lucky. I'm a clarify, let's say, if you're not lucky, but I'm feeling that energy. Let's see what comes up. Just remember that we had the Queen of Swords, the Queen of Wands, and the Magician card. They'll use whatever is clever, in the lowest vibration to conquer a territory. And the way she was looking at that magician, it was like he had something she wanted, and she set her sights on taking it. Yeah, that was the Lover's card. Look. Wow. This is what he's upset that he passed up on, and shimmy literally with the damn, this is wild, with the Four of Cups here, which is about rejection or a missed opportunity. He missed an opportunity to engage in something that would have been pure with the Ten of Cups, that would have been even greater than what he thought. See, this is the disparity here, even though it's just one off, right? But the difference between the one is the Ace of Cups, which was offered here. He had the opportunity to have the Ace of Cups experience in life, that quality of life experience, but he opted out for the material life experience and thought that would be enough to fulfill his spiritual desire. Like one could be substituted for the other. But it's like he shortchanged himself here with the Nine of Cups and forfeited the opportunity for not just the 9 in a singular form, but the 10 in the holistic form. Meaning it doesn't even have to be like wife and kids, but it just would have been the fulfillment of his life purpose to some degree, and his heart's desires. The two would have found an alignment and been brought into fruition by him taking a different path. But with the Knight of Cups, it's like he took a path under this Five of Swords. What's he looking to finesse? Let's see, because that's what I'm getting. Like he finessed his way through something, or he took a cup from that Ten of Cups and then went off to give it to who or what? Let's see. For power. So it was like he was pulling from, and then it didn't afford him nothing but that. And what was that? But the Four of Cups again. Damn. It's like, how can I say this? He had access to a high quality love, I'll say spiritual experience. I won't say love, but it's definitely implied with the cups, and particularly with the Ten of Cups. Like it could even be soul tribe, to really be aligned with the tribe, not people like this, even if we're talking about it practically, platonically, even professionally, not aligning yourself with people like this that just would cut each other off at the knees to get ahead, to get ahead in one way, shape, or form, where it's like, where are we getting ahead to? Like, if we all work together, we'd actually get much farther. It's like as much as they work together is as much as they work against each other with the Five of Swords, because everybody's so fixated on winning or being better than the other or advancing beyond the other that they're willing to actually suppress the others, even while they're giving off the facade as if this is the facade, the finesse, the Knight of Cups, that they're actually in alliance or and co-creativity or collaboration or whatever the case may be. It's like a self-sabotaging energy, especially if you willingly invest yourself into a space such as that. But certainly to be blindsided in any particular way, which could have been the case, but I get the sense, like I said, starting with the Seven of Pentacles, he was a willing investor in whatever it was, and maybe perhaps to some degree wasn't privy to all of the aspects of the investment he was in agreement with, or the terms, I should say, of the investment, but certainly he signed the dotted line in some way, shape, or form, or he wouldn't be so affected by it, you know? So he had the opportunity to trade that in or forfeit it altogether, toss it out, and be in connection that was more harmonious and fair and balanced, where everybody wins, whether this, again, be platonically, professionally, or intimately speaking. It's like he finessed his way through that energy, and instead of investing in it, he took something from it. And what he took from it ultimately gave him access to a high level of inspiration, creativity, and power. But what he didn't do, as I said, is give back. It's like he took the best of this world but gave it to the worst of the world that he was invested in right here. That's why it's like a missed opportunity and a disappointment, because where he was supposed to take this cup that Spirit gave him and invest it in something that was more prosperous and a promise of productivity, he took it and invested. It's like the dog with the bone type of thing, feeling like there was more to be gained on this side of the fence and faster. Remember, I said like a fast return. It was too slow happening over here and too much involved to invest in that. Perhaps he would have had to heal, which is the exchange here, like Spirit offering nourishment for your soul, for you to advance your spiritual nature so that you could be in this magnetic force for this pure inspiration and power and, you know, all the things that comes with the Ace of Wands. It's a highly powerful and productive card that is a gift of the divine, but it's not awarded. And that's what I said, like, who did he finesse? It's like he finessed his way into a spiritual gift that he didn't earn rightfully or righteously. And what it's come down to now is that what he once had a great deal of access to or was able to expel or express on account of what he was, it's like what is that? Like borrowing on the margin? I don't even know what that means. But it was like he was borrowing some energy. I don't know what that means, like financially or professionally, but what I'm seeing is like somebody that like, say you have either an insurance policy or a 401k and you keep borrowing from it. You know, when you borrow from such things that are like, you know, structural financial structure, like, you know what I mean, like a financial, like a set, yeah, I don't know how to call it, but what to call it. But when you borrow, say, let's just go with what I just said, like you borrow from your 401k, first of all, you borrowing that usually with some penalty, whether it be a fee or some high percentage rate, or there's something like there's some sacrifice, and you borrow it. Yeah, you'll have this money on hand and it's readily available, and you can, you know, make some moves with it in a material sense. But in the long run, it either depreciates the value of what you'll have to look forward to, i.e. your retirement or whatever the case may be. And it comes with a great penalty for having borrowed it or taken it out before it's fully vested or before the time, whatever the time allotment is, in the first place. So in some regards, it could be multiple penalties, but it's like this guy didn't care about the penalty of, in this case, being in environments that weren't supportive of his mental health, perhaps, maybe his emotional health, and clearly even his financial health to some degree. Certainly not his spiritual health, as depicted here with the Four of Cups. It's like he was finessing his way through whatever spiritual, expression this was to gain access to this power. But what he was borrowing from was, whether he knew it or not, or cared or not, causing a great penalty to his soul, is what I hear. The way that he was accessing this resource, and maybe whether it was before time or out of time or out of turn, or from sources that were not, I'm getting probably in some diabolical way, or one that was unbeknownst to them. Like, this is like, practically speaking, stealing ideas, or stealing, taking ideas and repurposing them, or stealing, or just like in a fantastical way, siphoning people's energy by way of proximity. So targeting people that are unsuspecting, such as in the Ten of Cups vibration, very high frequency individuals that are very, consider an empath of sorts, or just someone that's willing to give and share and show love and just be expressive in a spiritual sense, taking all of that energy for self, not really reciprocating it, but that being fuel for the force that he felt was most productive to him gaining a financial or material return, or even power, even just for the power itself of being able to forge that exchange, to have access to those funds or those resources, again, unbeknownst to the sources themselves, or just in such a way that it was unsuspecting of the high, the great imbalance or disparity of the exchange, like taking more than what he was given. In this case, not given much, but given the facade, the finesse with the Knight of Cups, that he was given something. But where is he going? He's not going back into that. He's taking that energy right to where this Ace of Wands is, which is for his own personal gratification, to be for clout, for material gain, for prestige, for power, for accolades, for achievements, perhaps suppressing these energies here with the Ten of Cups. And like I said, if you're stealing people's ideas, or at least, or even taking their life force and not replenishing it or exchanging fairly with it, that's just as diabolical as you literally coming and stealing from somebody's house, or stealing their money. Energy is the source, which he's found out quite certainly. And sometimes I see this Nine of Cups as somebody that wants to, like, almost hoard energy, like keeping a storehouse or a trophy house of sorts of energies that don't belong to them. These are accomplishments that he didn't really gain honorably or righteously or rightfully, because they were on the backs of other people, or other ideas, or other people's mind fields or energetic fields, like whatever was clever, pretty much. When it all costs is the energy with the Five of Swords, right? But rejecting his own authenticity. So this is ultimately what it came down to. Just as those Seven of Pentacles is an unfavorable return, it's like where he had access to this, like, all-powerful force here with the Ace of Wands. It's like now he's back down to what he has to offer, and what he's finding is it's a great disparity of force from what he was able to acquire unjustifiably. It's like it's yours, that's your wand, but it pales in comparison to what, and that's why I was saying it was like he feels hopeless to never be able to get to this position of power again, because too much has transpired. He's been, I forgot, didn't I? I forgot about the relationship piece. I got lost in this whole vibration of soul family and this and that. But this even kind of confirms what I said in regards to that Queen of Wands and the Magician card. He got finessed. He invested in someone else with the power of the wand that he supersized on his own accord, and on the disadvantage of others. She saw that energy that he had. Queen of Wands, remember, she was lustful for what the magician had, which was ultimately the wand. That was the synergy that she could share with the magician. Power, prestige, creativity. There was something that she saw that she wanted of him, and she put herself in a position to siphon it off of. So like I said, Five of Swords, what you do oftentimes, most always actually comes right back around. So he pretty much met his match is what it came down to. The magician met a witch. Like the wizard, let's call him a wizard. That's what he was after, trying to be some type of wizard or warlock or, you know, mastermind of some sort, met the master mistress, you know, the mistress of ceremonies, and he got outdone far more than what he ever thought was possible. Because this is like a card of someone that has a great ego. So he been winning at all costs for so long and getting over on people and finessing people with his wand and with spiritual manipulation, i.e. that magician card. All types of manipulation, but this is just showing up. Emotional manipulation is what I mean to say. That he was bigging himself up. You know, this is his trophy case right here, his showroom of all the times when he's been able to get over and build his little shrine with, shrine. I don't even like how that felt when I said it. This is deeper than that. With that Ace of Wands and the Magician and the Queen of Wands, they was on some dark magic stuff. Let's just call it what it is. Some real dark manipulative work was going on between these two. And like I said, it's like the energy of those where they are a powerful force together, and they probably really needed each other to really do some damage to some degree, because clearly coming back down to the Page of Swords, there wasn't enough power cultivated in the individuals to just, venture out into that energy themselves, or at least they didn't see the power in their own energies, which is why they came together for a common objective. But it's like no honor among thieves. So the whole time they all was doing magic on each other or sabotaging each other. You can look at it in a practical sense. You can look at it in a mystical sense. I feel like all of it applies here in some way, shape, or form, or at least what they thought, especially with the Ace of Wands down to the page, is like they thought they was doing some mystical shit, and maybe they got finessed by way of the reflective circumstances or the projection that whatever they were doing was actually working, or maybe it was to some degree, whatever. Like maybe there was some headway that they were making in terms of that magician energy and that mystical and manipulative force. But ultimately, it's like spirit is having the last laugh, bringing it right back down to size, to square one, to that Page of Wands, for you to deal with the energy that you've been putting out. Nothing more and nothing less. So probably, maybe actually a lot more, because that was the Justice card, which means that definitely is going to be a return of energy expelled. But what we also saw, didn't the Eight of Wands come out? So it could even be magnified, or it'll feel magnified because of the nature. Yeah, like it'll feel magnified because of the nature of what was expelled. And that's the damn truth. And like I said, some mystical dark stuff was going on here. And there's the damn Eight of Wands that I'm speaking of. Yeah, all this energy that was expelled. And what's this? Oh, yo, shoot. It's like he not even knowing he's walking into a damn ambush, whether it's in spirit or in truth. Something's about to either knock him off that cliff with the Fool card, or sweep him right off his damn feet. And it's like he ain't even going to know what hit him. Because the projection of truth the sword that he was pretending to wield honorably was actually sacrificed here with the devil. This is really what he had access to, just as he would have had access to this with the Ace of Wands. But he, like, remember I said those penalties, he sacrificed the unadulterated truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help him God, for the quick return of a diabolical force that we know just loves to play games, mind games particularly. So he allowed himself to get tripped up into some inflated ego of power. Even here, like the devil promised him some. What you promise him? Oh, so it was all knowing and all powerful is what he wanted to be. Oh, so you wanted to be God, but not like God, the surrogate of source, as we all are, if we so choose to be, but the Almighty. That's what he wanted to be. Wanted to have all this power to pretty much and you, for what? You weren't doing anything good with it when you had access to it. So what did you really want it for? But to inflict more hurt and harm. And that's exactly why it got blocked. And y'all all have met your match to some degree in this little coven or, fraternity or organization or whatever the hell it poses itself to be, if it even still is a thing at this point in time. Is like, if he's still a part of it or not, one way or another, he's either been sacrificed to be pushed out of it or to be destroyed to some degree, as he's become the offering, perhaps on account of where he lost access here. Because I did say that, where he was able to siphon energy before to gain this greater access to power, something's been dismantled. It probably was sabotaged anyway. And like I said, by way of that Queen of Wands, who wanted to kind of, who really had her eye on stealing that energy for herself, whatever it looks like, or who knows what these people, what the true, when this type of greedy energy is on the board, who knows what the objective truly was. But what I definitely heard is all powerful and all knowing. To put into action in what regard? Probably still nothing more than just to self-gratify themselves with more money, more clout, more power over others, and just pretty much to shit on people. Nothing truly productive, which is why the spirit of all, the source of all, the true all-knowing and all-powerful force, would never align with such ridiculousness, because there's nothing of value in the Seven of Pentacles to sow into. It doesn't yield any good fruit. All it yields is more people to be destroyed, even themselves, by aligning with an energy such as this, which is ultimately just the darkest, being heavy on the dark side of themselves and much distant from the light. You know what I mean? It's like fully enveloped in your dark nature, your desire to possess, and even addictions and obsessions, and fear mongering, fear projections, because you're afraid in your own right, to be poor or to be meaningless, or for people not to value who you are or see you, or whatever it is that the devil projects that you should find more valuable than just your spirit and your soul alone, is what was ultimately sacrificed for the sake of the desire, the reward, or the promised reward, which the devil doesn't even have access to grant. So if you realize, this is just foolishness. He knows how to project illusions that, and that's what I was saying before, they may have thought that what they were doing was working, but ultimately they were really just putting themselves on the chopping block whole time, just to even attempt or intend to cause harm and disruption to others, particularly to those that are unaware, unassuming, and it's unjustifiable to do so. These are not people that were a part of the action. These are people on the outside. So now you didn't brought people that didn't have anything to do with your operation into madness and made them casualties of your war when, and that just gave another whole nother spin. Lord, I ain't even going there. But when only you were reaping the benefits, it wasn't like you were going back and giving back, like it was like taking everything you possibly could and leaving much of nothing behind. Thankfully, the energy such as this with the ten of cups is regenerative. Like it can regenerate itself. It can resurrect when it faces a diabolical force. Like it's just that type of vibration is eternal, as long as it's well cultivated and maintained. And that's why it was a continuous back and forth, because the well never ran dry. I'm surprised the Ace of Cups ain't out here, So it's, wow. So yeah, so ultimately he's walking into the energy that he expelled, not even really knowing this. Somehow he still is delusional enough to feel like he still is or was delusional enough to think that he was still in the King of Swords, like still some regal position or authoritative position of power on the outside of the fringe, calling the shots and sending out the orders. But in true form, the finesser has gotten finessed or is getting finessed. And maybe perhaps it hasn't quite happened yet, but that's the anxiety, like I said earlier, knowing that it's coming. You don't know when. And that's the thing about the Nine of Swords. And when you can't get out of that mindset, you almost bring it on to yourself. Like you expedite the experience to some degree because you can't get your mind out of that frequency. But in this regard, he does have something coming to him for sure. And it's not good. It's very dark, as a matter of fact, but it's only really a reflection of what he sent out. And that's the true fear, because he's thinking about now all of the energy that he expelled out in them streets and how it could possibly return, at any moment, in any day, in any form. It's like not knowing the hour, the day, the frequency, the magnitude, but you just know that something good is finna come your way. That's scary. I wouldn't really wish that on my worst enemy, to be honest. Look, exactly, not knowing when it's coming, but it's coming. It's coming. And it's like, I'm sorry to say, but with this force that I'm feeling, like I felt the darkness. There may even have been some previews. That's why he's stressed out, because there have been some previews and what has been lost. Yeah, this is the energy here, the Seven of Swords, which is the worst of the sword energy next to the 10. But that's not really the worst, because that means at least it's over and done with. This is the activity that was persisted to still kill and destroy against innocent people and even against accomplices. It's like double dipping, you know what I mean? It's like ridiculous. And with the ambition of the Knight of Wands, I forgot he was down here, like over ambitious, territorial, doing too much, extremely carnally obsessive and indulgent is the Knight of Pentacles in the lower vibration, which is this definitely is giving me that. It's just very immature, emotional and energetic vitality, not knowing what to do with your wand, literally sticking it anywhere for anything or for a reason. This is literally that energy, like Playboy vibes. And given the matchup with the Queen of Wands and the Magician energy, it probably was incited and influenced in some regard by her. Whatever it is that she was into, like I said, she knew she was the true mistress of ceremonies. Unbeknownst to him, he probably thought he was running the show, but really she was running game whole time. And they probably have done a good job of finessing each other fine enough at this point, literally with the Seven of Swords. But the point is that he got way more than what he was bargaining for. Because this complete, like, to even have access to an energy such as this, he was targeted because she didn't have access to this energy. She knew that he was the gateway, and he was rightfully the gateway. He rightfully had access to some degree. He abused and overused that power and that force, and spirit then, stripped it away. It's like people have either been tested in this last 10-12 year cycle with having everything that they could dream to have at their fingertips, or having little to nothing to work with. Remember I said with the Magician card, like almost making a miracle with the few resources that you actually have to manifest with. It was a test in the universal test of all tests to see in either circumstance what you would do, how you would respond, how you would react, how you would reproduce, how you would what responsibility you would take for your being given those circumstances. Some people did very well in that energy amidst even great struggle, and some people just completely failed. People such as this that had great access to high level power, material, authority, opportunity, creativity, doors open in high places, got caught up in that devil energy and the lower vibration, the pride, the ego, all that stuff that can drag you down to hell ultimately on earth. They went too far down the rabbit hole, and this is where they find themselves in total darkness. And some people, as I said, sold as best they could with what they had, kept their head above water. And many of those people were the ones that didn't even know the value of their resources was being manipulated and depreciated from an external interference. They didn't know that, and they still did the best. Like I said, regenerated their passion, regenerated their hopefulness, their faith to just do the best that they could with what they had on hand. Like, okay, I don't have a job. All right, well, what else can I do? Okay, this is the best job I can get. All right, well, I'm going to show up and do my best every day. I don't have a relationship. Well, I'm going to focus on me and grow and evolve in my singlehood. Like, I'm a single mom. All right, well, I'm a strap. I almost said strap up. Pause. Total pause. Okay, pump the brakes, the stoplight, the stop sign, everything. But I'm gonna pull up my bootstraps better and do what I gotta do for me and my seed. You know what I mean? So. And then here's the energy here of the choices that were made to be to do the absolute worst with the absolute best you could possibly have, and it's all being balanced out in the spirit. Those that didn't know that they had interference, or just maybe even not direct aggressive interference, but just the stakes, the chips were stacked against them in one way, shape, or form. It's like now spirit is clearing the board for all. Those that didn't do well with the chips that they had, spirit is clearing the board and moving those chips around where they could be much better invested, i.e. back to the Seven of Pentacles. Those that presented themselves to be productive farmers of energetic force are now having their territory enlarged to vineyards and groves and beans, what'd she say? Beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, as far as the eye can see, and the adverse is true for those that did not, Yeah, like, it's crazy though. That devil energy is a motherfucker, ain't it? And we all had to contend with it. We all had to confront it, I will say. We all did. There's nothing unfair here. Everybody, our circumstances may have differed, yeah, but everybody had to contend, and this is the perfect expression of it, and then had to balance it out. Everyone had to contend with facing their own mortality, whether it was a fear of poverty or the projection of a poverty mindset from past experience. Again, as I said before, fear of missing out, fear of being left out, fear of people not appreciating you or seeing the value of your life force or what you have to offer. It shows itself in ways of people chasing clout and coins and things of that nature. But what it really comes down to is fear. That's that devil energy. Fear. Ultimately, it's just fear. The spirit invited us to balance that energy co-creatively in the life lessons that we were learning, to find is back to that Four of Cups energy. If you were a yes to that journey, this is what you came out to create with this earth angel energy. And this is the alchemy. Remember I said the magician card is like the physical alchemy, where you do the best with the resources that you materially can, that are tangible. This is the spiritual alchemy here, taking the best and worst of your life experiences and making the most of it, like changing your pain into power, your trauma into treasure type of thing. Even here with the Eight of Pentacles, this was the willingness to work on self, to cultivate self, to build something that was productive. We all had the invitation. The job might have looked different. The job description or responsibilities may have been unique to each and every one of us, but it all was under the same umbrella of spiritual alchemy, finding balance and harmony and peace with all that you were, all that you are, so that you could project a positive future for yourself. Some people were too afraid of this experience. And remember I said with the Seven of Pentacles, it was like sowing for that fast return. They don't want to, it's too painful to be poor. It's too painful to feel less than in a room, or feel like you're missing out on opportunities that other people are having, or you're working a job when everybody else is chasing their dreams, or people that are hardly talented are famous, or whatever. Either way, you're looking at people being famous and being recognized, and you want some of that action too. What can you do to get it? Here's that when that devil creeps in and says, well, I have a suggestion. I have an invitation for you. I have what is it? I have a proposition for you. If you do this, you could get that. If you go this way, I'll give you all of that. All you have to do is this. And it seems so good, it seems so easy. And then once you get into the flow of that exchange, you find it very hard, like I said, to climb your way out of that rabbit hole, because the more that you do, the more that you have to do to stay in a position of illusion, mind you, that you've acquired up until that point, let alone to advance any further. Because that's the thing, it's like you're always in this really unstable place in that demonic energy, where it's like you don't want to fall off back into this, obscurity in whatever way that projects to you or to whomever. And you want to keep going to advance to this level of even this, more so this, because it's still a bit short, as we said, but to this advancement, this wish fulfillment in whatever distorted way it's been idealized at this point in this energy. So it's like the sheer thought of having invested so much just to have come, but so far, but so much farther to go, is excruciating. It only intensifies that obsession even more, because you dare not want to drop back down to no man's land any more than you want to miss the opportunity to get to the promised land. And most of the time you don't usually want to do any of the things that you find yourself caught up doing in the meantime and in between time. But it's like, what's the alternative here? Once the devil got you by the balls, you gotta answer that call. One, you definitely gotta pay up on whatever you owe, because there's definitely a high price. Remember I said those penalties when you are extracting early, it's like somebody taking their, this is what it was. People wanted to take a shortcut to their destiny, to their wish fulfillment, their stardom, their you know, their promised land, like literally wanted to take a shortcut to get there around all the other people that had to work hard for it or wait it out or believe for it, pray for it, plan for it, whatever the case may be, wanting to get there in the fast lane and finding a guide along the way, i.e. that demonic force that would grant you access, even pay your tolls for you, but it comes at a great cost. And at first, the exchange didn't seem so bad, because sometimes it's a little bit fun to be in your dark. I'm channeling right now because this is not how I think, but I know the energy. Like it feels fun and almost freeing, like liberating to revel in your dark energy, especially when by way of the world standards, have answered to a certain, expression of rightfulness at least, righteousness at best, So it feels good to indulge in the decadence of the devil, it really does sometimes. And then you get caught up in that feeling, i.e. with that Queen of Wands and the Magician card, it manipulates you into energies that you didn't even come here for. You were after this, and now here you are over here doing the most for the absolute least, So you get glamorized you get seduced literally by that experience, so much so that you lose sight of yourself and the organic nature of your spirit. And you even lose sight of what the ultimate goal was in the first place. You don't even know why you're doing what you're doing anymore, but you know that you have to do it because you owe a debt. And if you don't pay the debt, you're going to go back to start. Literally back to start, don't pass go type of energy. So it's like, what do? I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing and hoping for the best. And that's when the devil steps in again and says, you only got to do this, like you're almost there, like why would you give up now when you have so much to gain? You've already sacrificed so much, you might as well keep going. What does it matter? Look, for what? Stardom, look. And I'm done with this. All for the clout. And it's false because this is not even it's not the pureness of the star is healing. It's following your destiny, your purpose. It's like you somehow along the way got manipulated to believe that you actually were following your purpose, but you were just doing it the smart way, the fast way, while everybody else, took the long road. That was for the peons and for the numbnuts and the menial beings of the world, not for the elites. You got glamour to think that you were doing it some elite way, some exclusive way that nobody else was on. Little did you know, it was the long route to go right back to where you started. Literally to completely reroute you back to home base, to have to do exactly what everybody else has had to do anyway, but now with the stakes being that much higher and harder because of all the shortcuts that you took the first time out. Because this is the energy here. It's like all you would have had to do was keep working on what was true to you without the shortcuts, without the without the sacrifices, and without the casualties, the unjustifiable casualties along the way. Now you're finding yourself having to defend yourself against a whole heap of a lot of forces, known and unknown, because from day to day it's not even clear what's to even be contended with anymore, but just knowing that you got to protect yourself because you've done too much, like the energy here, anxious about what could be coming their way at any turn, you know, maybe not even want to leave the damn house, let alone get out the bed, for fear of what's going to meet you when you emerge. Who's going to meet you? Who's going to be lurking around the corner? What bad luck is about to, karma is about to return favor to what you expel? Like, it's a terrible place to be. It's terrible. Nobody should opt for that. Well, of course, like, hindsight is 2020, right? But it's like there were signs and signals for anyone that took this route along the way to say, abort, turn around, don't come, like that full card energy. Like, even the dog is telling him, Earth, don't go any further. You're about to jump off the cliff, you know, in the lower vibration. And he's like, nope, I gotta see, I gotta go. I gotta keep going. I gotta keep up with the Joneses. I gotta keep up appearances. I gotta show people that I'm the man. I gotta have the most money. I gotta have the flyest car. I gotta have the greatest accolades. I gotta be rubbing elbows with the stars. I gotta have my name in lights. I gotta have the flyest girl on my arm. You know, everything that is an illusionary projection of success is exactly the pitfall that energy such as this fell into. And it's been I'm surprised even the tower didn't come up. Actually, it's been a hard fall from grace, like literally like sunken place fall from grace, to the point where I don't really have any point of reference anymore. Lover's card here, what it could have been, with the high priestess, what it should have been, not the freaking and this is what she was after too. The Queen of Wands with the Magician card, this is the energy that she wanted to possess or projected herself to possess, when in actuality she was she even a queen? You know, like maybe she was the page, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and then here's this overambition and aggressiveness and entitlement, again, for energy that you didn't work for. You didn't work for a divine partnership. You didn't sow for it. You didn't sow for supreme in emotional intelligence and divine alignment. That wasn't your focus. It wasn't your focus to be on a purposeful path. And by purposeful, not just doing what you love to do or what you feel will put you in the spotlight, or even what you project will allow you to make an impact. Because a lot of people glamored themselves by that too. Like, well, when I get to where I'm going to help people. I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to make a change. When it was always self-gratifying from beginning to end, quite honestly. Or if it wasn't from beginning, once the devil got up into it, that lower nature, it became very tainted anyway. But a pure journey to wholeness and healing, and on to following one's north node or life purpose, there are no casualties, not unjustifiably. Nobody needs to get hurt unjustifiably. Now, there may be some people you have to leave behind that spirit says are not aligned with your present position or where you're even going. That's different. That's all justice. That's justifiable. It's not up to you to bring people on to, you know, to the understanding of your path. You just got to follow it as you feel guided. And that's part of the responsibility that's not so favorable when you feel like you have to be gratified or affirmed from society or from your peers or from particularly even people that don't even really matter or care to do you any good, you know, which is all of the above sometimes. So it's like now the entitlement, it's the entitlement for me to want to acquire energy or monopolize or benefit, moreover, from this vibration when you were not in alignment for it at all. And now that's why there's a call to have to protect self, because what was you doing the whole time but being a damn magician, manipulating forces in your favor unrighteously and quite honestly diabolically, trying to like create the perception, like almost like, how can I say this, like it's like, how can I say this? Because I feel it. It's like trying to, somebody that really manipulated his way either into stardom or manipulated his his projection or appearance of stardom, like someone that made himself appear bigger than he was. Well, that's already been said even here, but this is the confirmation here that it wasn't his energy, most of it, whether it was practically or spiritually speaking, but it was all for the purposes of creating this facade of superstardom. That's what it is. It's like the epitome of, it's like if fake it till you make it was a person, this would be him or her or them. It. Yes. And it wasn't just fake it till you make it, like when I get there then I'm gonna show off. It's like fake it till you make it with energy that doesn't belong to you, and then keep on faking it beyond what is even admissible for you to truly keep up. And because you can't really keep it up naturally, you got to keep on faking it to make it, taking more again from that unlimited, though it seems, source, to continue to make it, all the while still trying to project, well, succeeding in many ways to project this false light of what is it? A false light of magic? Like a fake ass mystic. Why do I hear that? So this is somebody that was projecting him. Now it's taking a whole nother turn, and I ain't going there because my instance is up. But it's like a fake mystic. That's what this energy is giving me. Somebody that's like, oh, that's why it's so damn fake. Because it's like you weren't even doing that yourself naturally and organically. And then this is somebody who projected himself to be like the guru of star creativity. Like not only because he has reached this level of accolades and, you know, whatever accomplishment, you know, to some degree, but he can also make stars. Like he also has what it takes, like any way that his, whomever his energy is connected to. Think about like a Barry Gordy or who else, like people that are like star makers. That's what the energy is giving me. That's what he projected himself to be. But it was only for the purposes of gaining a buy-in from these are the stars that he, like here with the 10 of Cups, these are the stars that he was really targeting to gain buy-in. Like, you know, I like he's the plug, the fame and fortune plug. I'm gonna show you how to do it, or show you how to get it, or I got the key to the doors that'll let you in, like that type of vibe. When really he was just luring people in for the slaughter and for the kill, because once he got you in his clutches is when he started to suck you dry. And again, perhaps made false promises along, this is this energy here, making false promises along the way, like, yeah, I got you, I got great opportunities, and maybe even giving some, you know, like that's the exchange with the Knight of Cups, like giving a little, but taking a whole lot off the back end. And then when we're talking about spiritually, so people would be left depleted and not like having hella problems and depressive and anxious in the energy. It's like he projected hit. Oh my God, this is so deep. I'm so mad that I didn't catch this sooner, because I would have been in that vein. But projecting his low vibrational energy onto them in exchange for what the high vibration they had to give, and then go feeding that into the machine to then amp himself up yet again, exalt himself up yet again, to be just as much of the picture of perfection, to then pull in more. Is like, it was like a revolving door of sacrifices that he was just luring in continuously over and that's why he's so afraid of, because something's gotten stopped in its tracks. Something ain't working, the machine ain't working like it was before, or it's not yielding the return with that 7 of Pentacles that it was before, probably for multiple reasons, because people are just hip to the game and waking up. The cosmic elements are shifting in a way that you just can't even do that anymore without great resistance. So people aren't as unassuming and unaware as they once used to be, like literally just sheeps to the slaughter type of vibes. You got to actually work hard to pull the wool over their eyes, no pun intended, you know? So he's lost a lot of the power and influence. That's what it is, the influence, and the devil is the influencer. So that's the energy that he wanted to be, the ultimate influencer, the ultimate all-knowing, all-seeing. That's why I was hearing that, like, what? Because he was positioning himself, really exalting himself, with the devil laughing at his ass whole time, to be this superstar, like supernova. That's what it is. To be like a supernova of sorts. Not only am I the star, but I can make you the star. And if you're on my team, you're a star. And if you're in my company, you're a star. And if I even, we even brush elbows, you might just become a star type of vibe. Like, this is scam. This is scammer. It's a scammer. And it may be in a very practical sense, but if it wasn't, it definitely was in a spiritual sense, because the persona that he was giving off was not matching the real vibes, because it was on borrowed energy. It was a borrowed 401k, a borrowed insurance policy, because you can do that too. And don't even get me into the dark work, because there's another aspect of that I know is absolutely dark and sacrificial in some other demonic way. And that's where the rabbit hole got really dirty and grimy, because it started off very subtle and, almost, harmless to some degree, because from his perspective, well, I'm going to do better with the energy than they will. They don't even know what they got type of vibe. So it starts off harmless and a little bit, I don't know. It started off harmless, but it got really dark, because like I said, the devil just keeps luring you in, that dark nature, your own dark passenger, i.e. Dexter, okay? Get into it. Just lures you in to the point where you thought you were doing something for good, then eventually you got to start covering your tracks. You got to keep up the facade. You got to keep up with what you owe. You got to pay the piper. You got to keep up with appearances, keep up with the Joneses. Like, you can't let this image fall, because that's your bread and butter. So if people don't believe the facade that you're putting out, how are you going to gain more resources? How are you going to maintain what you are, what you've been producing in the first place, let alone to then feed those energies? Because that's what they were being fed into, like to the slaughter or sacrifice for this demonic force. That was the exchange rate. But when he stopped being able to really feed that hunger is quick, that to satisfy that hunger fast enough, is when the table started to turn on him. And now that's why, not only are the people that were being sacrificed now wanting to know what the hell is up, or just calling their power back altogether, where it's not as accessible anymore. That's a depletion there. Some may actually be looking, whether it be within the alliance or outside of, for some type of retribution for the promises made and not maintained. And then you got this spiritual essence on your back too. Well, not spiritual, but this diabolical energy on your back too, that is looking for, like, where's my money type of thing? Where's my sacrifice? Where's my blood? Where's my energy that you're supposed to be feeding me? If I can't get it from them, who you think I'm going to get it from? Which was the plan all along, to lure you in to be the lamb to the slaughter, because you were never going to be able to maintain this energy, because like I said, it's unsustainable organically. It's designed for you to burn out eventually, whether by your own hand, by the forces that you've disenfranchised, or by the demonic force that you owe. So it's like, pick your poison at this point. No wonder there's this impulse to protect. Like, literally, this is like paranoia. That's not even just like protect my energy, protect my peace, stand my ground. This is paranoia. Like I said, you don't even want to come out the house because you don't know what is about to happen next. And it's only been a glimpse. You can pretty much, from whomever this vibration is, can pretty much count that whatever what you have just as much, you are well within your right to count every single memory and instance in which you disenfranchise someone else, particularly unsuspectingly and unjustifiably, and you can count on that return pound for pound with the Seven of Pentacles. And in this case, you can count on the return to be magnified beyond expectations at this point, especially given there's no repentance here. There's no change of mind. There's no change of action. There's no true remorse, not just regret, but remorse for the outcome. And more importantly, there's no retribution. Still, people are out here hanging to dry while you're just trying to figure out how to recover. One way or another, the scales will be balanced. And it won't be favorable for those that diabolically tip them in their own favor. Good luck with that. All right, that's all I got to say about this, because y'all just be careful out here, because this is the type of energy that will gussy himself up real good to hit one more last lick, to come back to you thinking you still unassuming and loving and caring and giving, and your heartstrings can be tugged on to see someone in need. He may even present himself to be changed, or to be remorseful or sorrowful in some way, or just to need help or support or assistance. And this energy right here ain't looking to do nothing but get back to where he left off. And I would hate for where he left off to be where he picks up with you. So protect your energy. If it don't feel right, I know I've been saying this, and I've probably said it more times than necessary to anybody that's watching me and can relate to being on the upright of energy such as this. But just be careful out there, because we all want, especially this holiday season, we all want to care and love and share and be in peace and harmony and forgive, and 'tis the season, and yada yada yada. Some people been waiting for a time such as this to melt your heart in a certain way, to ultimately pour it into their cup and be on their way again to the next victim or to the next ambition. They need to fill up somewhere, because where they're getting it, the wells all run dry. Don't be that fuel. Don't be that fuel. Don't be that fool. And that's all for real now. You take it as it resonates and leave what doesn't, okay? Until next time, as always, I leave you with peace.